Welcome to today's deep dive. If you're joining us right now, today is Sunday, March 1st, 2026, and we're unpacking a massive day in SEC women's basketball.
We really are. It's a completely fascinating piece of sports theater for you today.
Yeah, totally. And for you listening, our mission today is pretty straightforward. We've gathered a stack of sources. We're looking at game recaps from the Greenville News, the Louisville Courier-Journal, and the State.
Right.
And we're going to figure out exactly how the number 3 South Carolina Gamecocks survived this massive upset bid from the Kentucky Wildcats in Lexington.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal case study to look at. Kentucky came into this game ranked either number 16 or number 18, depending on which poll you're looking at.
The polls are a little split.
Exactly. But they were playing with this distinct level of desperation. They were on their home floor, and they wanted a signature win.
And the hook here, the narrative heading into this game, is just incredible. You have South Carolina coming in 28-2.
Just a towering record.
Seriously. And they had just breathed through their last 5 games. They looked untouched. Meanwhile, Kentucky is just fighting for any momentum they can get.
And what we actually got was a game with these thrilling momentum swings, a total clash of titans in the paint.
Oh, the paint battle was wild. And that dramatic final minute, a comfortable 13-point lead, literally melting down to just 2 points.
It evaporated.
It really did. So to help you make sense of the stats, the strategy, and the bigger implications heading into the SEC tournament, I am joined by our resident expert. You are the perfect person to help us break this down.
Well, thanks. I'm really looking forward to digging into the mechanics of this one with you.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah.
Because it really is a tale of 2 halves.
Or a tale of massive momentum swings, really. To set the stakes for you, South Carolina had already clinched the SEC regular season title.
Right.
They had the number 1 seed for the SEC tournament completely locked up.
Nothing to lose, really.
Exactly. Kentucky, meanwhile, is playing in front of a sold-out Memorial Coliseum crowd. They are absolutely hungry for a signature win.
So South Carolina comes out, and they are just scorching.
Unbelievable start.
First quarter dominance. They shot 61.5% in that first quarter.
Which is just clinical execution.
It is. And they take a 19-13 lead, while Kentucky is really stumbling out of the gate.
Yeah, Kentucky was shooting a pretty iffy 35.3%.
And they had 7 turnovers just in the first quarter.
Right. So if you're watching, you assume South Carolina is just going to run away with it. But then we hit the second quarter, and there's this crucial turning point.
Oh, the foul trouble.
Exactly. Kentucky's star center, Clara Strack, picks up her second foul. And this happens just 18 seconds into the quarter.
The clock is literally at 9:42.
Yes. So she has to go to the bench, and she sits there until the 5-minute mark.
Which usually spells disaster against the number 3 team in the country.
You would think. Most teams would crumble.
Yeah.
But instead, Kentucky actually fights back.
And this is the aha moment for you listening, because the contrast in that second quarter is staggering. South Carolina shooting completely plummets. They dropped to 29.4%.
A total wall.
Yeah, and they go nearly 4 minutes without a single point.
4 minutes in college basketball is an eternity.
It's a lifetime.
Yeah.
And the craziest part, Kentucky goes on an 8-0 run the exact moment South Carolina's star center, Madina Okot, goes to the bench.
Yes. And I want you to think about this. Think about how quickly momentum shifts in any competitive environment.
Right.
It is a perfect example of how crucial a single key player's presence is to a team's structure. When Okot steps off the floor, the whole structural advantage just vanishes.
So they go into halftime, and Kentucky has trimmed it to a 6-point game, 33-27.
Which sets us up for the real story of this game.
Yeah.
The Battle of the Bigs.
Yes. Dawn Staley, South Carolina's coach, actually predicted this. She said before the game that the paint battle would be the key, and she was absolutely right.
It was a tactical masterclass down low. Let's look at Clara Strack for Kentucky.
Even with that foul trouble.
Even with sitting half the second quarter, she finished with 24 points and 9 rebounds.
Wow.
And she wasn't just playing traditional post. She was hitting floaters, fadeaways. She even stepped out to hit a three-pointer.
Which is just how the center position has evolved. And South Carolina's Madina Okot matches that MVP performance blow for blow.
She was an anchor.
21 points, 13 rebounds, 2 blocks. And that was her 20th double-double of the season.
Just incredible consistency. But, you know, what's fascinating here is a weird contradiction in the stats.
Yeah, the rebounding numbers don't seem to match the paint points.
Exactly. Kentucky actually out-rebounded South Carolina for the game, 40-34.
Which usually means you dominate the paint.
Right, but South Carolina actually outscored Kentucky in the paint, 36-24.
Okay, so explain the why behind that to us. How do you grab more rebounds but lose the paint by 12 points?
It comes down to volume versus efficiency. Kentucky was getting offensive rebounds off their own missed layups and then missing contested putbacks. It pads their rebounding stats but doesn't get you points.
Ah, I see.
South Carolina, on the other hand, capitalized on highly efficient, high-percentage shots when it mattered most. Okot didn't need 3 chances to score. She converted on the first touch.
Because she draws so much defensive gravity.
Exactly.
So that brings us to the third quarter eruption. The scene is just set for drama.
Oh, Memorial Coliseum was rocking.
Kentucky comes out and cuts into that 33-27 halftime deficit. And eventually they tie the game at 37-37.
A massive three-pointer.
Yes. Asia Boone drills this three, and she ended up finishing with 11 points. But when that shot went in, the sold-out crowd went absolutely deafening.
It's the ultimate stress test for a team. The momentum is entirely with Kentucky.
So how does a champion respond to that?
Well, this is what separates elite teams from the pack. Instead of panicking, South Carolina immediately launches a devastating run.
They didn't even blink.
No. Depending on which phase of the clock you're looking at, it was a 13-2 run, or a broader 17-4 run over the last 5 minutes of that third quarter.
Wow.
They completely flipped the script to take a commanding 54-41 lead.
And it wasn't just Okot doing it all by herself.
No, the secondary support was crucial. Tessa Johnson stepped up with 12 points, and Raven Johnson added 11 points. They exploited the gaps when Kentucky tried to double-team the paint.
So South Carolina goes into the fourth quarter up by 13, but here's where it gets really interesting.
That's when you think it's over?
Right. South Carolina goes totally cold, another massive drought, nearly 3 minutes without scoring.
Their offense just stagnated again.
And Kentucky methodically chips away. They outscore South Carolina 15-6 in the fourth.
It's just relentless execution by Kentucky.
They cut that comfortable 13-point lead all the way down to 2 points. 58-56 after a free throw by Jordan Obi, and there are only 59 seconds left on the clock.
The pressure in the building at that moment was off the charts.
So who do you go to when the game is on the line and your offense is failing?
You go to your anchor. It was Madina Okot who scored in the final second to officially end South Carolina's drought and ice the game 60-56.
Just clutch. So they escape with the win.
Yeah.
But to really understand this 29-2 season, we have to look at the bigger picture and these off-court realities.
The injury hurdles alone are staggering for South Carolina.
Yeah, let's outline exactly what they are overcoming. They are missing major pieces. Chloe Kitts tore her ACL.
Out for the season.
Right, out for the season, though she is returning next year. Then you have Ashlyn Watkins.
She suffered a torn ACL in January 2025. She's taking a full year off from school and basketball to recover.
And Adhil Tack is also out. So their rotational depth is severely compromised.
Which makes their execution in those tight moments even more impressive. And despite the injuries and despite this really close call on the road, the NCAA implications haven't really changed for them.
No, they are still right at the top. The latest NCAA Top 16 reveal still has South Carolina as the number 3 overall seed.
Firmly placed in the Fort Worth 3 region.
Exactly. Their resume just outweighs this one tight game. Now, moving beyond the brackets, there's another really important detail from our sources this weekend.
Yes. If we connect this to the bigger picture, there was a very sobering off-court reality documented in the coverage.
We want to make sure we report this strictly as a factual note from the sources, remaining entirely impartial. We're just conveying the reality of how global events intersect with the lives of these athletes and coaches.
Right. Dawn Staley actually took time to ask for prayers for 3 of her former players, Tiffany Mitchell, Micaiah Herbert-Harrigan, and Destiny Littleton.
All 3 of them are currently based in Israel.
Yes, playing professionally over there. And this follows the joint U.S. and Israel strikes on Iran that occurred on February 28th.
It really puts the game into perspective. You have these coaches managing immense pressure on the court, but their minds are also on the safety of people they care about halfway across the world.
It grounds the whole discussion. Real-world events don't pause for basketball games.
No, they don't. So to synthesize everything we've looked at today, South Carolina proved they can take a massive punch from a ranked team on the road. They can completely lose their momentum, suffer these wild scoring droughts, and still find a way to win.
Because of that sheer dominance in the paint from Madina Okot.
Exactly. And on the other side, Kentucky proved they can go toe-to-toe with the nation's absolute best.
They did not back down for a second.
So what does this all mean for you? Why does this game matter if you're not a basketball coach?
It's a great question.
The lesson here is really about resilience and weathering the storm. Think about your own life. When you're facing a massive deficit or a sudden crisis at work, panicking simply doesn't help.
Right, you can't just abandon your whole system.
You rely on your anchors. Just like South Carolina relied on Okot to stop the bleeding and secure the win, you have to find your anchor.
And that leaves you with a really provocative final question to ponder.
Let's hear it.
The SEC tournament kicks off this week in Greenville. South Carolina just showed they are undeniably clutch, but they're also undeniably vulnerable to late-game scoring droughts and rebounding deficits.
40-34 on the glass.
Exactly. So is this 60-56 escape the wake-up call the Gamecocks needed to patch those holes and dominate March Madness, or did Kentucky just provide the rest of the country with the exact blueprint to take down the #3 team in the nation?
That is the big question heading into Greenville. We will definitely be watching to see how teams adapt. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Keep exploring, stay curious, and keep connecting the dots.